Here we go. Yodel doodle. What's going on? AP Racing in the house. Hey, Caroline. I got to tell you, every time I pop this on and I see Sam in his uniform, I get really scared for myself and everyone else in the room. Because, well, it's Sam.
So you want me to take it off?
No, it's perfect. Well, maybe later.
I got you.
All right. Sam sent me the greatest 2 mugs in the world the other day after his race. I wish I had him handy. I don't. And I don't want to leave the screen because I'm here. It was Sam, tell him what is a picture of Andy and I in the front and tell him what it said on the back. Are you allowed to do that at work?
Hold on, what was that?
Tell them what it said on the back.
So right before the meet, right before Sacramento, the winds were going to be really high, and I told Daniel, "Hey, dude, so winds are high. What do I do?" And he goes, "Well, it's easy, man. Just go swim, bike, run, and don't be a Daniel,
Wussy. A wussy. A wussy.
Wussy."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
That was yeah, that just took off a lot of that stress, so it was pretty fun.
Yeah, and that actually dovetails right into where we're going today to start this meeting. So today's meeting was intended to be just for mostly for the plan athletes. So actually, I don't even know if Potts is jumping on. I don't even think I told him about it, to be honest. And I doubt he checked his calendar. So it was supposed to be mostly for the plan athletes. A lot of the questions I got were around that. I got the chat open. If you guys have questions, just keep on hitting me up. But we got like, I don't know, like 20 or 30 questions. So I'm going to go through them and through them as best I can. And if any other questions come up, let me know and I will answer them. Karina, if those TPS reports are going well, just keep us going. Let us know. I want to make sure we're good to go there. I'm going to go so you guys can see me. Sam, get out of there. I'm going to show myself. How do I do that? Magic. Does that work? Yeah, hey, there we go. All right, guys. Awesome today. Let's go. All right. First, everyone doing good. Give me a thumbs up. Good. Okay. If you have questions, either just scream into your microphone, unmute it first, or just put in the chat. All right. So Sam said it's real easy. You just swim, bike, and run, right? And don't be a wuss about it. Well, we had a great question from the gallery, which was, is there a difference, and if so, what, between self-analysis and an elite athlete, someone like maybe Matt Rasky, Ben Ford, Tanya provides like in their comments in their workouts, compared to someone who isn't maybe as deep into metric analysis or maybe isn't at an elite level? And that is a great question. And I'm going to kind of tell it a couple different ways. First of all, if you're on a plan with us, we never see your comments anyway, so that's all about you. But like Andy says, it depends. Every athlete, every person that comes to the table is different. Some people really need to talk through everything. Some people just go out and do it. Some people want to like understand the why, others don't. So this comes up to you. I will tell you this though, as you we move up, I'm going to call it the level, I'm saying this in quotes, from our fast athletes to our fastest athletes, because we're all fast and have fun. When me personally, when I'm coaching, I call it the higher level athletes, there's actually less back and forth and less comments happening, because what happens is we figure out kind of like how the body works, your body works and reacts to the training. And then what's happening is it's more or less a check mark, like, oh, this went good or it didn't go good. And if it didn't, then we dive in a little deeper and figure out why. But a lot of times it's like, we always say this, I build the training, and Andy, and we all build the training so you'll be successful and it'll get you to where you need to be. If you can't execute it, maybe something happened in your life, maybe it was just a bad day, maybe something happened, and then we just reevaluate from there. And that's more like, oh, like you need more like subjective things, like, oh, you know, I had a long meeting, or I ate like, I don't know, 4 steaks and 18 donuts at lunch, or something happened. But on the daily basis, like what happened on your, how we say this, on your fourth interval, on the third set, and your heart rate went up 3 beats, it don't matter. It just doesn't. So like, um, I think like the self-analysis when things go wrong, or when like you nail a workout, really helps. Or like I'll get sometimes from Matt, even from Tanya, like, oh, that was great, made me feel really good. Okay, cool. Like that means you're getting excited, and we do more stuff like that, because that's like helps with the mental and emotional side of things. Or like, that was impossible, I needed more rest. Okay, why'd you need more rest? What did we do the day before, the day after? But it doesn't really need to go that deeper than that a lot of times, because when we built the workout, we built it knowing what you were going to do before, what you're going to do after, and how your body normally reacts. Newer athletes, more information is better. Does that make sense? Jose F, any other questions following up on that, or is that good?
No, that was great.
Yeah, I think where it really helps more than anything else is in your life and your schedule. Like, so, hey, Daniel, I have to go to 14 meetings, this week. I can't do all these workouts, or my plate's going to be loaded, right? I was talking to somebody yesterday, and we talk about it all the time. Your plate's only so big, right? And you can only fit in physical stress, so much physical stress, emotional stress, life stress, whatever it is, right? You can grow your plate a little bit by your training, right? So then you can, and it's small how much you can grow, because you can handle more physical stress. So you can grow just a little. But when all those other stresses come in and we have to coordinate that, that's really where communication needs to ramp up. Cool? Make sense? Word. All right. I'm just going down the list here, so this is going to be random. Again, if you guys have questions or talk about anything, you let me know. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, let me do this for anyone who is a plan athlete that's here right now. You have received your plan. It has about 3 swims, 3 bikes, and 3 runs every day. You also received a guide on how to execute this plan for the next couple of weeks as we build your annual plan. Here's the trick. If you can do 3 swims, 3 bikes, and 3 runs and not implode, do them. All of them are pretty short. They all will hit everything you want to do. Good to go. But life happens. You can't handle all that physical stress. Pick the things that fit your schedule. If you want a balanced approach, 3 swims, 3 bikes, 3 runs, I would say is kind of the minimum I would kind of work towards. Let's say you really want to work on your swim. 5, 6 swims, 2 bikes, 2 runs, 3 runs. If you want to work on your run, 6 runs, right? You can increase the volume, decrease the volume. Let's say you're coming into the offseason, you're already fit and prime, and you're like, these 35-minute runs aren't enough for me. You can double the distance. You can go 125% of the distance, whatever you want to do. And that they're scalable completely. All the bikes, all the runs, they're made so that you can scale them based on where you're at right now. You can reduce down, you can do more, you can do less. Again, this is only for our plan athletes. We don't have the luxury of being able to look at your daily schedule each day, every day, especially during the holidays. The main reason we started this is some people are like, dude, I want to train 40 hours a week. Other people are like, nah, I want to go to the Christmas party. I have all this family stuff, and things change every day this time of year. And so it's impossible for us to program that time. So it should give you the flexibility you need. Got more questions? Hit me up. I'll give you direction. All right. This is a 2-parter. It's about run speed. So we had an athlete who moved to Colorado recently, and like all of us, we're a day older today than we were yesterday. And she's like, she was like, I'm just not running as fast as I used to. What's going on here? And the correlate to that, should I worry about run speed before I worry about endurance? It's big questions, both of them. All right. So first of all, moving to Colorado, as you know, elevation, major problem. You eventually get used to it, but your run speed's still not the same. Like when I'm fit, I'm about 20 to 30 seconds per mile faster at sea level than I am at altitude. That's because of my physiology too. Altitude really affects me in a bad way, still to this day. Some people don't have an issue, and it's a little bit less of it, and it's relative to your absolute speed. The best way you can handle your training, if you live at altitude, you live in really hilly terrain, it's really windy where you live, there's two ways. You can run by feel if you have a really good gauge on your feel compared to pace and effort level. And or if you want to bring in the tech and the metrics, you run with a power meter. They're fantastic for if you live in a hilly area, if you live in elevation, but you can really dial in all your efforts. It works. You can think of it, if you've never used one before, more or less like a bike power meter. If you use a Stride power meter power meter sensor, the numbers actually line up really well too. So it makes it more comfortable. Like if you use some of the other ones, I think Polar, the numbers are way higher. If you use, I don't know about the Garmin one, but I know the Stride one, it's really close. Like I think when I was racing, my bike FTP was anywhere from like 295 to 305. My run FTP was like 288 to like 307 or something like that. Like that was kind of my range. And so it's really close. It works really well. Tanya, when you used it, did you find it was about the same? Mute, unmute. Put the translator on, do it in English. Let's go. No.
Yes, it was higher on the run because I was fitter on the run than the bike. But
Yeah.
when I got fitter on the run and it leveled my fitness in the bike and the run, they
They
kind
came
of-
close. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. All right. So the next part of the question, should I focus on speed or endurance? If you're very comfortable with periodization, you will know the term like pyramid or inverted pyramid. And typical pyramid periodization scheme says it's oh wait, hold on, question. Can you stride while running on the treadmill? Is it accurate? Yes. It's actually a great way to use the treadmill, because you'll find a lot of treadmills aren't calibrated correctly, and you can use the stride on there. Okay, so back to it. When you talk about training, you talk about a periodization. A lot of people use that. Whatever. Invert pyramid, which is like you build the base, you build the layers, and then you get to speed and sharpening, right? Or inverted pyramid, where you start, well, it's not really inverted because it's still like this, but you start up here and you work your way down. Both work. Depends on the distance you're training for, it depends on what you're doing, it depends on your fitness level. If you are completely unfit, starting with speed work, you might hurt yourself, right? And even if you are fit, doing certain types of speed work or VO2 work or things like that, you risk injury if it's not done properly. With that said, corollary, we always talk about, there's a question a couple of weeks ago, how do we improve our run technique, right? And run efficiency. Speed work actually does it the most natural way. Faster you run, beyond like sprinting and looking like an idiot, like throwing your arms, the more efficient you're going to run. So like you'll see a lot of our training early season is really like just go out and run, runner's choice, establish consistency. That's like because we don't know where everyone's coming from, and also we're trying to establish like neuromuscular connections, strengthening ligaments, strengthening tendons to avoid injury. And then pretty quickly we build in like some speed work, but I would call it more efficiency work, so you can get faster, not faster, more efficient and become a better runner. Yeah, so that's what I got. I can tell you when I was younger, but I was already fit. I wanted, the story I always tell, you've heard it before, I wanted to run sub 4:30 in the mile. And so what I did was I'd go out every day and I'd run 4:20 pace. And it started off, I would run maybe like a quarter at 4:20 pace. And I would use my neighborhood. So I'd run to like, I don't know, the Jones's house, and then pass out, lay there, and then try and make it home just as fast. And then the next day I would try and go 3 mailboxes down, and then 4, and then 6, and 8, until I got to a mile. And then when I got to do a mile, and I have to make it back too. So when you have a baseline fitness and you're strong enough and fit enough, run speed comes not from, and we talk about this all the time, you have to force it a bit. You can't just go out and say, oh, you know, when my heart adjusts to this speed, I'm going to move up. No. Sometimes you got to force it a little bit. It has to be controlled and smart in how you do it. But when you want to get faster, you really have to force the issue and be purposeful with it. Yeah, so that's what I would say about that. Okay. Let's see, I'm looking here. No, those are personal questions. Don't want to answer those. Real personal. Let's see. Okay, Carolyn, you might be able to answer this one really well. We got an athlete that's focused on 70.3 racing now, few 140.6s. How does the time commitment dedication level increase as you're trying to move up to Ultraman compared to what they're doing now?
I mean, it also depends what the goal is, because if you're just trying to finish an Ultraman, you could probably do different training than if you're trying to win. But it's a commitment, for sure. And I think the number one thing I learned going up the distances is just figuring out what your priorities are. Because if you're a CEO and you have 6 children, and then you're trying to train in the extra time, versus if, hey, my focus is to get to Kona and I want, I'm going to put everything I have into this for 2 years. It all depends on what the goal is, but there's definitely a jump in commitment because you need to do longer rides and runs. So instead of maybe, hey, I have a 30-minute run in the morning and I have a 45-minute spin after work, it might turn into, hey, you need to squeeze in a 2-hour ride, on a work day, or in committing more to your weekends. But what I always focus on too is, think of that goal, think of the finish line and how, it's easy for me to dedicate the time when you have like a big goal. And then, so it's more time for sure. And also driving to the pool, driving to ride, buying nutrition. There's a lot that goes with upping your distance. There's a lot to consider there, if that answers.
All right, quick question. Carolyn actually said when she started training with us and having us coach her up on coaching, wow, you guys do a lot of training. You do almost as much as that I would do in ultra. How many hours do you think you train a week at your peak? Like peak, call it like a 4-week block. How many hours a week do you think you're training?
23 to 25.
Yeah, so a lot of you guys are already doing it, especially our high level guys and girls. It's funny though, I trained a few people for ultras and I would have trained them a lot more than Caroline trains, but again, I'm kind of crazy.
And I had some foot injuries, so my runs were real short. We were making up fitness in the pool and then the bike. So if I didn't have the injury this go around, it probably would have been more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like when you think about ultra, it's similar to Ironman. Like you have to think about your energy burn and how much you need to deal with on race weekend, and how do you account for that, right? In your training throughout a week and a month, so to speak. So it's not too much more. We've trained a bunch of ultra runners, and the training's not too much more than your marathon training, but it comes a little differently. And like you get a lot of stacked stuff that's like, I know a lot of you guys on the bike get a lot of stacked workouts with like, 4 hours on Saturday, 4 on Sunday. You might get more runs like that too. And when you're doing ultra running specifically. All right, cool. Oh, I did something to my screen. Give me 1 second. I can't see the chat box. Sorry. I can't even see any of my stuff. It's not good. Sorry. Any other questions? Oh yeah, Brian, I was just getting to that. Perfect. So he's asking about strength training. How many minutes, hours should I focus on strength training? There's like a ton of workouts. Yeah, our database of YouTube workouts is massive. How do I deal with it, right? How do I pick them? What should I focus on? All right. First of all, if you have strength training with us, so you're a one-on-one athlete, some of you do with us, some don't. Or if you signed up for strength training, or if you add it on later after I talk about it right now. Hint, hint, it's really good. We will completely program your strength training based on your racing, your training, where you're at now and where you're going to be. Typically, very typically, our theory methodology, I don't know what you want to call it, on strength training is you do a ton of endurance-based activity, muscular endurance, endurance activities, repetitive motion over and over again, right? It's very rare you go to maximum capacity or load in your strength training. Got me so far? Cool. I hope you do, because I'm going to keep going. So what you need to do in your strength training is not do the same thing that you're doing in your bike, swim, and run training. You need to complement it, not supplement it. I think that I used that correctly. I'm not positive about that. My English isn't so good some days. Tanya, I'm actually learning Chinese now. Side note, it's awesome. Really hard, but awesome. So big digression there. So when you think of your strength training, you should not be doing 12 to 15 reps. You should not be doing like combination training where you do run through like, like a typical curves gym where you just go around the circuit and just kind of do the circuit over and over again. Even stuff like Orange Theory and stuff like that, you don't need it. It feels real good. For general fitness, greatest thing in the world. You should be like, if you're not doing triathlon more than 10, 15 hours a week, go do that stuff. Early season, you can do that stuff too. But you should be following a protocol that's a lot closer to powerlifting when you're doing strength training, when you're trying to improve your triathlon training, racing because of it. Because you get all those other things in your endurance training. The caveat to this, there might be a few. Caveat one, you already need to have really good mobility and core stabilization to be able to get to that spot in that place. Okay. The other caveat, hold on, I just did something, my bad. Okay. So if you look at when we'll train you, we'll do a lot of like body weight work, mobility movement work, all things like that before we get into a heavy lifting protocol. We will also cycle in and out of those things too, because you can't do it all the time. What are the 3 best exercise for a triathlete to help with their strength training once we get out of mobility? Who knows one of them? If you know it, I'll send you a hat. No, I won't. I'll forget. I totally will. But Tanya, go. 1.
Hex bar squats.
Hex bar deadlift. Let's go. You want to get faster and stronger on the bike? There you go. Hex bar deadlift. Next one. Anyone. Straight up squat or a step up. Really good. Yeah, we're targeting most of our training targets posterior muscle chain. It's the best thing you can do. And last exercise, there's actually a couple more that are really good. There's a lot. There's like 5, but my favorite is pull-ups, which you'd say, oh, that's an endurance exercise. It just targets so many different things in your back, shoulders, arms, and it's different to what we do. And you could do it as a power lift too if you wanted to. Okay, there's a few more. I will send the full list. So Brian, typically with strength training, again, all this stuff has to fit into your life. Your life doesn't have to fit into this stuff. I would say about 2 times minimum, 3 times maximum per week. If you're on a powerlifting schedule, when you're doing body weight work and things like that, you can do it 4 to 6 days a week, sometimes 7. And a lot of our stuff does that. Yeah, so that's really what it is. Were there any other questions on strength training? Because I think I see some here. Yeah, no, you're good to go. And all those hex bar deadlifts will make you a stronger, faster, and more powerful biker. It's the way it goes. And the off season is a great time to start this routine, because you have to get into the routine of like, how's it going to fit into my schedule? Let me get comfortable with all the exercises. You take a little more time to like watch the videos. And so like in our strength training too, anytime there's an exercise, there is a link to that video. So you don't have to pick through the 100+ awesome ones that we have. Cool. Word. Awesome. Okay. What is the best lead in? A lot of you guys are race planning right now for the year, right? Or you already have. If you're going to do a 70.3 or an Ironman, what's the best lead in? Should you do a sprint or an Olympic 4 weeks out? What's the best? Okay, again, this really depends on you, your life, your schedule, and your fitness. If you're super fit, you can do like a 70.3, 4 to 6 weeks out for an Ironman is awesome. Fantastic. And an Olympic 4 or 6 weeks out, great. If you're not super fit, it's not good for you because you need to train and you haven't trained enough yet. And typically when people do a race, the week before is pretty chill. The week after is pretty chill. The less fit you are, the more chill it is. So you've just lost 2 weeks of training and probably one of the most important time blocks before a race, 4 to 8 weeks out. So if you're fit, you can race as much as you like. If you're not fit, I would really talk to your coach, your friend, your mentor, I don't know, the guy in the street about your goals and what you want to do. Yeah, Caroline, go for it. 10-4.
I was gonna say, depending on your level of self-control, I have done events because all my friends were going, or I knew the race director, and I did a 70.3 at an Ironman pace as a training day or something like that. So if you can really be honest with yourself, if you can control, like, hey, I'm not going to go out as hard as I can and blow up. Like, I can really go have fun, go easy, and just use this as my a sprint, as my 5K relaxed 30-minute run. I think there's a little of that involved too, but you have to really be honest if you just aren't going to get excited and just take off.
Yep. All right. So I got 3 things on that. And Karina's question really helps us. One, she's right. Like, we do this because we're social creatures and it's fun to be around other people and race. So like, the more you can race, the better. It's always great to race. I'm going to take the antithesis, probably not the right use of that term either, to what Caroline just said, because a firm belief that I have, every time we step on the start line, it's a race and we're getting after it. So I have a really hard time with that. I get it completely. And if that you can do it, go for it. But that just does not work for me. I know it doesn't work for Joe's dog over there. Sam, if he didn't get after on the start line, he might shoot someone. No, I don't mean that for real. He's a cop. I can get in trouble. Not true. Okay. But here's the other part of that. And this is really important for race planning too. And Karina asked, what about going to camp 4 weeks before 70.3? Going to camp's always the right choice. Come on. No. So I struggle with this a lot with a lot of athletes. If you're traveling across the country to go do 70.3 4 weeks before a race, it's even delaying like your recovery even more. It's delaying being in your routine and schedule even more. Like, camp is a little different because you're going to train a lot and you might train more than you're at home. And then you could kind of do a little recovery and it'll work great. If you're doing 7.3, your weekly load is going to be way less anyway. Camp, I would say, Karina, have a really good plan about it, right? Hey, camp starts on Monday. I'm training through Sunday. Monday is like my off day because first day of camp's really light. And then when I come home, it's like recovery and go. Anyone that's been to camp knows that camp takes a lot out of you physically, mentally, and emotionally because it's so awesome. Sign up today. And you sometimes need like an extra 4 or 5 days off. I know after camp, I need like a week off from doing anything because I'm just blown to bits. It's less the physical. It's more like all the things we're doing. Like you're bouncing around. There's a lot going on. So 4 weeks is actually an ideal time if it means a bump in volume for you and you're going to get more training out of it. If it means actually your training load is going to stay the same or go down, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Don't come. No, still come, please. No, Lisa, I have not gotten the date yet for Blue Ridge Camp. Haven't figured it out yet. I'm waiting on one thing. And Ironman's announcement the other day, yesterday, kind of messed that up a little bit. So I'm working on that. But it's coming. Okay. So I had a few questions about camp, so I'm just going to go right to that. Can you talk a little bit more about swim videos at camp? Yeah, I can. So we tried for a couple of years to do underwater videos for every person at camp. do analysis, send it out, and it was a cluster of a nightmare. I'm trying to figure out a better way to do it. Haven't figured it out. What I think we do actually is a million times better, at least for me, and probably probably for you guys too, because Joe's swimming in the pool. I'm taking a video of him as he's swimming and I'm seeing what's going wrong or right. I pull him out of the pool. I show him the video. I tell him what he can do to fix it. He jumps in, does it again. I do another video. I show it to him again, and then I send it to him right then on the spot. You have the instant feedback. You have the change. You have what you should be doing instead. And you have a quick video on your phone that you can reference anytime. If I can figure out a better solution, I will do that, but that's really how we do it. Next question was, can you talk about the rides for Chula Camp and what they're like? I just put in the chat for everyone a link to the camp guide from 2020, I think, or 2021. It was one of those years. The rides are also always similar. The maps are in the back with links to all of them. Here's the deal. Our camps, we say it all the time. We change the training based on who's there. We change, and like Tanya might have a different workout than Joe, than Sam, and me. Everyone kind of gets slightly different workouts based on your ability, where you're at, your goals, your race, and everything. And we try and like meet with people as we're going and bring people into groups. Sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. But most of our rides and most of our camps, Colorado I think is the best for it, are out and backs or up and downs. So again, like we really don't get spread out. We can keep an eye on everyone. Everyone can do their thing. So like you have your goals, you do your thing. You know, I think a good example is first day at Chula. We ride, it's like a 10-mile flat rolling like road out, all pretty much together. It gets a little spread out, but like it's usually like 3 groups all together. We get to the base of the climb. Some people go up 3 times, some people go up 2, some people go up 4, some people go up halfway and then we ride back. Crit day, same thing. So going to Palomar, some people go up, down the other side, back up, down and around. Some people go up once. Like we customize based on you. So nothing to be fearful of. If you need more volume, we accommodate that. Definitely. I think so. Right, Tanya? Maybe. Yeah. Whatever you need, we get. I don't see any other questions here. I think that's about right on my end. Yeah. All right. So back to it. Plan athletes. If you have a question, let me know. I believe your plan started today, so you should be training instead of watching right now. I see you, shame. Potheads Plus athletes. I think all of you are connected to your coaches now. If not, just drop me a note, and they either got you started or would have gotten you started. One-on-one athletes. I know all of our coaches besides me are doing a great job right now, planning for the year. So if you're with your other coaches, congratulations. If you're with me, you might want to get a different coach. No, I'm only kidding. Just give me a call, email me, and we'll get it done. We'll get it squared away. Hey, it's like the end of the year for like the world. And like, I didn't mean that like in a bad way. I mean, it's like, you know, the end of the calendar year and a lot of happy times and everything going on. But for us, it's even better. It's the start of the new training year. And so that means really a lot of hopes, a lot of opportunities to like find out something about yourself. So think about what you're going to find out about yourself this year. And let's get after it. Any more questions? I'm going to pause for a second and just stare into the camera with one eye, not two. I don't know. And wait to see if you guys have questions. It doesn't look like it. You guys are easy on me today. AJ, you are right. 24 years in Colorado. I wouldn't say you're slow. You're fast, just not faster. But your skating's really fast. Really fast. Okay, that's what I got. Oh, can you do a video on how to make the stride work with a Wahoo watch? No, I can't. It's hard for me to say no. The reason why I can't is I don't have a Wahoo watch. Otherwise I would do it for you. If I can find one on YouTube, I'm happy to do it. I will send it over. I know you have to download, like on the Garmin, you have to download an extra app and then like configure it. I don't have a clue. I'm pretty sure Jose F, that's Joe for you guys that don't know, you should know. I'm sure he knows how to do it. Wait, Joe, are you a Garmin guy? I forget.
No, I despise Garmin and
That's what I-
everything about them.
That's what I
So-
thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I bet he knows how to do it. Do you know how to do it, Joe?
I will play with it again tonight. The last I heard, they were not doing support on it, but I haven't looked in a little while. So I will
Okay.
play with it tonight though when I get home.
Yeah. That's weird. So I had a Wahoo and I feel like I had it working a while ago. Like it was just like a year ago. I don't have it anymore. I like Garmin because I can put my music on it and I don't run. I just listen to music and like hang out in my garage. So
Wahoo did start doing the music control off of it and stuff
wait,
too.
on which version of the watch?
The Element or whatever it's called now.
It's the
Yeah,
only watch they have. Do you need the
Yeah.
new one or does it work on the old one too?
I've had mine for like 2 years and it's working.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to Wahoo and switch. Oh, yeah, if you guys want any Wahoo stuff, we still have the discount going. Ooh, those are harsh words, Caroline. I don't use words like that. Sucks. Oh man. Bad word. They gave me one free and it was terrible. It is possible. Don't read that out loud. I read it out loud. That's really she sent it
They,
just to me. She sent a message just to me. That's really
They,
funny.
the Wahoo rep sent me one and they're really hard to use. And I love Wahoo. I have the fan and the climb and the kicker and the computer, but the watches leave a lot of room for improvement. I had to move on from it, but they have a lot of upgrades. Like they do like constantly, they don't tell you, but if you go and look, there are tons and tons of upgrades, but there's a lot of weird things about it. So I don't know. I don't know what to
Yeah.
say about that one.
Yeah, when I used it, I liked that I could do it through my phone, like customize. Like I don't like the whole Garmin screen stuff. It confuses the junk out of me. But to each their own. Watches are like shoes. You pick your favorite.
The Wahoo app, like for the computer, I love that too. Like going in your phone, you're like, I want to know what percent grade, bloop, it's on your computer. Like
Yeah.
that's the best about Wahoo. But the watch, I'm not surprised if they don't work with it, but I don't know.
Yeah, and hey, that's the best reason why you should let Zwift control your trainer. You can use the Wahoo app and set it any way you want. You saw that. That's why we don't program workouts either, but I did for this year. There's less than a minute left. I'm gonna tell you this. I've programmed like, I don't know, over 250 workouts already for this year, maybe more. It is horrible and it takes so much longer. I could have done all of every one of your training in half the time it took me to program the workouts I have now. It's awful. I don't know if we'll ever do it again. I'm just letting you know. Because everything we do is custom and it's really hard to do. That's my soapbox. I'm out of here. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Peace.